They tell you you're depressed. They say it's chemical, biological, neurological. They offer a label, a diagnosis, a prescription, and expect you to move on. But what if your darkness isn't a disorder? What if it's a signal? Nietzsche wouldn't call you depressed. He would call you asleep, detached from your truth, buried beneath 1,000 lies. The truth is this: much of what you call depression is not a malfunction of your brain. It is a rebellion of your soul. It's the fire inside you, starving. The scream of your instincts, ignored. The rage of a life lived too safely, too quietly, too dishonestly. You are not broken. You are misaligned. Your inner world is trying to wake you up, and the pain is the alarm. You think it's weakness. It's not. It's the part of you that refuses to die quietly. The part of you that knows something is off, even if you can't name it. You've been taught to blame yourself for feeling lost. But Nietzsche would ask, what if the life you're living is the real problem? A life built on shallow goals, false smiles, cheap pleasures, and quiet resignation. And that pain you feel? That's the price of betraying your potential. Not a sickness. A symptom. You are not meant to be numb. You are meant to burn. And that burning, that unrest inside you, is not an illness to cure. It is a lie demanding to be destroyed. They don't want to cure your pain. They want to silence it. Not solve it, not understand it. Just numb it. Pills, screens, platitudes. Everything but truth. But Nietzsche warned us, the most dangerous thing is not pain. It is sedation. You feel hollow, not because you're diseased, but because you've been disconnected. Disconnected from challenge, from danger, from purpose, from yourself. You've been told to seek comfort. But comfort is the cage. It keeps you fed, warm, distracted, but not alive. The soul doesn't thrive on ease. It thrives on tension. It needs resistance to grow. Without it, it starves. And that starvation, you call it depression. You're not tired because you've done too much. You're tired because you've done too little of what matters. You've ignored your deeper instincts. You've smiled when you wanted to scream. You've obeyed when you should have fought. And now your body is signaling revolt. This is not sickness. This is your soul suffocating under obedience. And you don't need sedation. You need truth. You need rebellion. You need fire. Somewhere along the way, you built a mask to be liked, to be accepted, to be normal. But now you wear it so long, you think it's your face. You act like everything's fine. You say the right things. You smile in photos. But inside, there's a quiet scream, one that grows louder every day. Nietzsche said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. And in that struggle, many lose themselves. You weren't born false. You were trained to be. Trained to perform, to suppress, to betray your edge in exchange for belonging. But the soul keeps score. Every time you silence it, you bleed a little. More. The sadness isn't senseless. It's the cost of your performance. You know something's wrong. But instead of taking off the mask, you tighten it. And hope it will feel real someday. It never will. Because your depression is not your enemy. Your mask is, rip it off. Let them see what's beneath. Even if it's raw. Even if it's ugly. At least it's you. They tell you to fit in, to be well-adjusted, to behave, to comply. But well-adjusted to what? A system that kills depth, that rewards shallowness, that fears individuality. You were not born for the herd. You were born for the edge. And your depression? It may be the soul's rebellion against mediocrity, a silent refusal to shrink. Nietzsche called it the herd instinct, the pressure to conform, to lower yourself, to match the crowd. And he hated it because it erases what makes you. You. Your fire, your questions, your tension, your strange, sharp mind. You are not made to be liked by all. You are made to disturb the sleepwalkers, to carve your own meaning, to walk alone if necessary. But that walk is painful. And that pain? You've called it depression, but maybe it's your soul remembering who it is. There was a time you burned, as a child, as a teen, before the world told you to be realistic, before it crushed your curiosity with cynicism. That fire, it's not gone, it's buried. And your depression is the smoke leaking from the underground. The fire dies when you stop creating, when you stop exploring, when you abandon the tension between who you are and who you could become. You are not tired. You are bored. Bored of the mask, bored of safety, bored of a life too small for the size of your soul. Nietzsche didn't ask us to be happy. He asked us to become. And to become, you must burn again. Burn false identities. Burn the numb routines. Burn the lie that you were ever meant to live quietly. The soul doesn't want comfort. It wants fire. So dig. Cut deep. Find the spark. And breathe. You've been sold a false god. Happiness. They told you it's the goal. The prize. The sign that you're doing life right. But happiness is fleeting. Empty. A sugar rush for the soul. And now that you don't feel it, you think something is wrong with you. But Nietzsche would say, nothing is wrong. You've just been lied to. You weren't built for endless pleasure. You were built for meaning, for weight, for becoming. And meaning often feels like pain, like struggle, like intensity, like growth. The pursuit of happiness turns warriors into sheep. But the pursuit of truth? That turns sheep into gods. So no, you're not broken for feeling heavy. You're not defective for feeling numb. You're just awakening to the lie that life should always feel good. Forget happiness. Seek truth. Forget comfort. Seek meaning. And in that pursuit, you will feel alive again. You feel too much. Think too deeply. Ask questions that make others uncomfortable. So they called you overthinker. Too intense. Too sensitive. But Nietzsche would ask, too much for whom? For a shallow world? You weren't made to live on the surface. And your depth terrifies people because it reminds them of everything they've avoided. Your pain is not a curse. It is a mirror. And most people hate mirrors. You're not sick. You're seeing clearly. And clarity in a blind world feels like madness. But you are not mad. You are awake. So let them fear your depth. Let them call it darkness. Let them stay in the shallow end. You were made to dive. You think the problem is internal. But what if the poison is external? Look around you. Screens that numb. Food that sedates. Noise that distracts. People who drain. Routines that rot the soul. You're not just depressed. You're contaminated. Believed man is shaped by his surroundings. And when your environment is dull, artificial, and lifeless, so are you. Your soul needs wildness. It needs friction. It needs silence. It needs something real. But you live in simulation, notifications, dead conversations, empty ambitions. Your senses are overstimulated, and your spirit is underfed. So of course you feel lost. You are designed to climb, to fight, to build, to become. Instead, you scroll. You don't need another diagnosis. You need a purge. Clean your space. Cut weak voices. Fast from noise. Reclaim the sacred, because the world you live in is engineering your despair, and your soul is begging for oxygen. When was the last time you sat in real silence? No music, no screen, no mask. Just you and your thoughts. Most people can't handle it, because in the silence, the truth returns. And for many, truth is terrifying. Nietzsche walked alone, thought. In solitude, embraced isolation. Why? Because silence strips you of illusions. It kills performance. It confronts you with yourself. And maybe your depression isn't a disease, but a result of never meeting yourself. You've been running from your own voice for years, distracted, numb, entertained, but your soul never left. It's been waiting. In the silence. Depression can't always be healed by stimulation. Sometimes it's healed by confrontation. Turn everything off. Sit still. Feel the weight return. Feel what's real rise to the surface. You don't need more noise. You need truth. And truth speaks in silence. Most people want relief. You should want revelation. Nietzsche believed that suffering could be sacred, not because pain is good, but because it forces transformation. And what you call depression might be your soul awakening. It is the collapse of who you pretended to be, the breakdown of false meaning, the grief of a self that was never truly yours. It hurts, yes, but the pain is a doorway, because only those who have been hollow can crave depth. Only those who have felt dead can seek real life. This darkness, if you walk through it, can become birth. But most people medicate the pain, escape it, avoid it, and so they miss the becoming. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to shed yourself. Let the false self fall. Let the ashes settle, and from them build a new form. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. Nothing changes until you choose to rise. No book, no video, no quote will save you. Nietzsche said, no one can build you the bridge on which you, and only you, must cross the river of life. That bridge is called will. It's not motivation. It's not mood. It's your soul remembering its power and deciding to act. You think you need to feel better before you act. But Nietzsche would tell you, act and the feeling will follow. Stand up. Clean your space. Walk. Write. Lift. Breathe. The will is a muscle. The more you use it, even in darkness, the stronger it becomes. Depression feeds on passivity. But will starves it. So choose something, anything, that aligns with the truth inside you. Then move and move again. This is how warriors are made. Not in comfort, but in choice. You don't need saving. You need to remember that. You can choose. You must destroy the life that made you sick. This doesn't mean chaos. It means clarity. Look at your routines, your job, your relationships, your beliefs. Are they yours? Or were they handed to you, shaped by fear, culture, comfort? Nietzsche, become who you are. But to do that, you must first unbecome who you are not. Burn the roles you never chose. Burn the habits that numb you. Burn the voice that whispers, stay safe. The depression is not random. It's the scream of a soul trapped in a life too small. You are meant for danger, for fire, for tension, not for dullness. So set fire to the fake, let it burn. And when the smoke clears, build real. You won't find peace in pretending, only in purging. You don't need a better mood. You need a better life. Once you shed the false layers, you will feel something rise. Not comfort, not safety, but power. The kind of power they told you is wrong. Too much, too intense, too real. But that's because they fear the dangerous man. The man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't obey, who thinks deeply, feels wildly, acts with weight. Nietzsche didn't want tame men. He wanted becoming. The dangerous man is not violent. He is awake. He speaks truth, not for approval, but because he must. He walks alone, not to be admired, but because his path is sacred. He creates, questions, breaks, rebuilds. That man is you, buried under layers of lies, fear, sedation. But he's still there, waiting, ready. Your depression is not his death. It is his birth. If you're here, still listening, then you already know. You are never sick. You are misaligned. You are never broken. You were buried, but now you see. And with sight comes power. This pain you felt, it was the call. Not to medicate, not to escape, but to transform Dot. So now the path is clear. Burn the lie. Choose the tension. Feed the fire. Face the silence. And walk not away from the pain, but through it. Dot. This is not self-help. This is resurrection. This is the death of who you were and the birth of who you could be. You are not here to be liked. You are here to become. Dot. You are not here to survive. You are here to rise. Dot. Let them call it madness. Let them call it depression. Dot. You know the truth. Now. Dot. This is your awakening.